Scene: a vast, silent desert at twilight under a sky of swirling, bruised purples and oranges, reminiscent of a Dali landscape. A single, colossal, petrified tree stands in the center, its branches looking like stone fingers clawing at the sky. A grandfather clock is half buried in the sand at its base, its hands still. The psychoanalyst's voice is calm, deep, and resonant, like a well-told secret. Voiceover: have you ever felt thin? Not in body, but in soul. A certain paper-thin quality to your existence, as if a strong gust of wind, a criticism, a failure, a sudden change in plans, could tear you right in two. This is the state of the uprooted self. It is the malady of the modern psyche, an epidemic of weightlessness. We float through life, collecting opinions, accolades, and experiences like a ship collects barnacles, hoping they will eventually give us mass, give us substance. But they don't. By the end of our session today, you will come to understand the most ancient symbol for the soul. The tree. Not as a quaint metaphor, but as a living blueprint. A guide to growing roots so deep they can drink from the hidden wells of your own being, and branches so strong they can hold the weight of your highest potential. Phase 2. The problem, you know the feeling. It's that subtle, humming anxiety beneath the surface of a busy day. You are successful, perhaps. You have the right job, the right friends, the right answers. You have cultivated a beautiful garden on the surface. But you dare not press your foot too hard on the soil, for fear it will give way and reveal the hollow earth beneath. You may find yourself a chameleon of identity. With one group, you are the stoic intellectual. With another, the wild-hearted hedonist. You change your vocabulary, your posture, your entire philosophy of life to match the room you are in. It's a masterful performance, but the standing ovation is always followed by a silent, lonely curtain call in the dark. The actor is left wondering, which one was me? Or if there was a me to begin with. Consider the young professional who moves to a new city. She arrives, a blank slate. She quickly adopts the local dialect, the fashionable cynicism, the weekend rituals of her new tribe. She redecorates her apartment, her social media profile, her very personality. For a time, it works. She feels a sense of belonging. But then, a quiet Sunday afternoon arrives, uninvited. The brunch is over, the notifications have ceased. And in the silence of her perfectly curated life, a terrifying whisper emerges. I am a stranger here. And worse, I am a stranger to myself. This is the hidden cost of being uprooted. It is not just a feeling of being lost, it is the gradual erasure of the self. Without roots, you cannot draw nourishment from your own history, from your own unique soil. You become entirely dependent on the weather of external validation. A sunny compliment makes you bloom, a cold shoulder makes you wither. You cannot bear fruit. You can only produce clever imitations of it. And your potential, that magnificent, singular seed that was gifted to you at birth, remains dormant, waiting for a connection to the earth that never comes. The greatest tragedy is not failure, but a life that never truly begins to grow. Phase 3. The solution, the cure for this weightlessness, this spiritual vertigo, has been with us for millennia, etched into the myths of every culture on earth. It is the symbol of the world tree. The axis mundi. In the Norse tales, it is Yggdrasil. In the Kabbalah, the tree of life. It is the Bodhi tree under which the Buddha attained enlightenment. The ancients understood a profound psychological truth that we have forgotten. The tree is not just a plant. It is a diagram of a complete and integrated consciousness. It is the map that shows us the way back to ourselves. The core idea is this: to grow up, you must first grow down. We are obsessed with the branches, with achievement, visibility, and expansion. We want to reach the sun. But the tree teaches us that the height of the branches is directly proportional to the depth of the roots. The brilliant, light-gathering canopy is a mirror image of the dark, intricate, and hidden network below. One cannot exist without the other. This gives us a blueprint for the soul, broken down into 4 essential principles. Visual. As each principle is explained, the petrified tree on screen begins to transform. The stone bark softens, color seeps back into it, and the corresponding part of the tree begins to pulse with a soft, inner light. 1. The principle of roots. This is the art of descent. The roots are everything that is unseen. Your personal past, your family history, the instincts you inherited from a million years of evolution. It is the realm of the unconscious, the shadow, the parts of yourself you have disowned or forgotten. It is the trauma, yes, but it is also the untapped power. It is the dark, rich, messy soil of your personal mythology. To tend to your roots is to stop running from your past and begin a dialogue with it. It is to ask, what am I made of? What stories, what sorrows, what strengths flow in my blood? This work is not glamorous. It is done in the dark. But it is this descent that gives you stability. It anchors you. 2. The principle of the trunk. This is the art of integration. The trunk is the self, here and now. The ego. It is the mediator between the underworld of the roots and the upper world of the branches. Its job is to draw the dark nourishment from below and channel it upwards into conscious expression. A strong trunk is resilience. It is a solid sense of identity that is not rigid, but flexible, like a tree that can bend in the wind without breaking. When your trunk is strong, you are no longer a collection of borrowed identities. You have a center. You can withstand the storms of life because you are connected to both the earth beneath you and the sky above you. 3. The principle of branches and leaves. This is the art of ascent. This is what we are more familiar with. The branches are your aspirations, your reach into the world. They are your relationships, your creations, your search for knowledge and meaning. The leaves are your consciousness, the surfaces through which you absorb the light of experience. This is the process of psychic photosynthesis, turning the raw data of life into energy, into wisdom. To tend to your branches is to ask, what am I reaching for? What do I wish to create? How can I connect to something larger than myself? Healthy branches are always growing, always seeking the light. 4. The principle of fruit and seeds. This is the art of legacy. The ultimate purpose of the tree is to bear fruit. The fruit is not the achievement itself. It is the unique, nourishing gift that you offer the world as a result of your entire process of growth. It is the wisdom born from integrating your depths with your heights. It is your art, your service, your love, your very presence in the world, offered without agenda. And within the fruit are the seeds, the essence of your wisdom that you pass on to the future. It is your legacy, not written in stone, but planted in the gardens of others. Think of the modern obsession with building skyscrapers of success. We want to build higher and higher, faster and faster. But a skyscraper can only be as tall as its foundations are deep. We celebrate the gleaming towers, the visible achievements, but we forget the immense, brutal, unseen work of digging into the earth, pouring tons of concrete into the darkness. The tree teaches us a more organic, a more sustainable model. It does not strain for the sky. It simply grows, simultaneously, in two directions at once. Down into the dark mystery of its own nature, and up into the light of conscious becoming. Phase 4. The application. This is not mere poetry. It is a practical guide. A way to reorient your life away from the thinness of the surface and towards the richness of depth. Here are 4 exercises to begin this work. To stop being a floating leaf, and start becoming a tree. Visual. The scene shifts. We are now in a surreal library. Books float in the air, and staircases lead to nowhere. The psychoanalyst is now visible, sitting in a worn leather armchair. He speaks directly to the camera. First, chart your root system. I call this the genealogy of the psyche. Take a large piece of paper and a pen. In the center, at the bottom, write your name. Now, begin to draw lines upward and outward, not for a family tree of names and dates, but for a genealogy of psyches. For your mother, your father, your grandparents, ask not what they did, but who they were, in their secret hearts. What was their unspoken dream? What was the great sorrow they never processed? What was their core belief about the world? That it was a dangerous place, or a playground of opportunity? What was the emotional atmosphere in the house you grew up in? Was it thick with unspoken resentment, or bright with genuine curiosity? You are not merely inheriting their genes. You are inheriting their psychic weather patterns. Map the soil from which you grew. Do not judge it. Do not try to fix it. For now, simply observe it. This is the first step to understanding the nutrients, and the poisons, you unconsciously absorbed. Second, listen to the whispers of the wood. This is the practice of dream tending. Your dreams are the sap flowing through the unseen parts of your tree. They are messages from the root system, carrying vital information about the health of your soul. For the next 7 nights, place a journal by your bed. The very moment you wake up, before you check your phone, before you even fully enter the waking world, write down everything you can remember. Do not worry if it makes sense. A feeling, a color, a single strange image, a nonsensical phrase. Write it all down. You are not trying to interpret these messages yet. You are simply collecting the raw data from your personal underworld. After a week, read it over. Look for patterns. Is the landscape of your dreams a desert or a jungle? Are you always running, or are you flying? Are the figures you meet there monstrous or helpful? You are learning the native language of your own soul. Third, practice psychic photosynthesis. This is the art of mindful reception. Your leaves take in sunlight. Your consciousness takes in experience. We spend most of our lives not truly experiencing the world, but projecting our thoughts and labels onto it. We see a tree and think, tree, and the experience ends. Once a day, for just 10 minutes, I want you to stop everything. Go outside if you can, or simply look out a window. Choose one simple object. A single leaf, a cloud drifting by, a crack in the pavement. Your task is to observe it without language. See its color, not the name of the color. See its texture, its shape, the way the light hits it. Your goal is not to think about the object, but to receive it, as if your consciousness were a photographic plate. When your mind wanders and begins to label and analyze, and it will, gently guide it back to simple, silent observation. You are training your consciousness to do what leaves do naturally. Turn the raw, unfiltered energy of the world into nourishment. You are learning to be present in your own life. Fourth, identify your dead branches. This is the pruning practice. A healthy tree knows how to let go. It does not waste energy trying to sustain branches that are dead, that are no longer growing, that are blocking the sun from the rest of the canopy. Our psychic life is the same. Sit down with your journal. Write at the top of the page, dead branches. Now, make a list of the beliefs, habits, relationships, and resentments in your life that are draining your energy but offering no growth. An old belief that you are not creative. A friendship that is built on complaint and gossip. The habit of endlessly scrolling through the lives of others. The grudge you hold against someone who wronged you years ago. Be honest. This is an inventory of your energy leaks. Now, next to each item on the list, I want you to write down the fear that keeps you holding on to it. We cling to dead wood for a reason. Fear of the unknown. Fear of being alone. Fear of discovering who we are without our familiar suffering. Acknowledging the fear is the first step. It is how you find the courage to take up the shears and prune. You must let go of the life you have planned to have, the life that is waiting for you. Phase 5. The proof this is not a New Age fantasy. It is the oldest wisdom we possess. Look at the Norse myths, at the high god Odin. To gain the wisdom of the runes, the secrets of reality itself, where does he go? He doesn't climb Yggdrasil to the heavens. He hangs himself from a branch, wounded by his own spear, and stares downwards for 9 days and 9 nights, into the well of Erd, the source of fate, the past, the collective unconscious. It is an act of supreme sacrifice, a journey into the deepest darkness. He descends through the trunk of the world to find its secrets. He does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. This is the proof of the principle. True wisdom, true power, is found by integrating the depths with the heights. We see this same pattern in the lives of our greatest psychological pioneers. Carl Jung, the master explorer of the psyche, embarked on what he called his confrontation with the unconscious. For years, he delved into his own dreams and fantasies, a terrifying journey he documented in his legendary Red Book. He met figures of darkness and light within himself. He charted the unknown territory of his own soul. It was a perilous descent that nearly cost him his sanity. But it became the bedrock of his entire life's work. The concepts he gave us, the shadow, the archetype, the collective unconscious, were not intellectual theories. They were discoveries made on a harrowing expedition into his own roots. He had to map his own underworld before he could offer a map to the rest of us. As he so perfectly stated, no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. The logic is irrefutable, because it is the logic of nature itself. A tree with shallow roots is the first to be toppled in a storm. A person who lives only on the surface, disconnected from their past and their inner depths, is the first to break under the pressures of life. Conversely, a tree that only has roots and never grows branches will rot in the shade, never feeling the sun, never bearing fruit. A person who only dwells in their past trauma, without striving for consciousness and growth, will stagnate in the darkness. Balance is not a goal. It is the prerequisite for life itself. The tree does not choose. It simply grows, in both directions, all at once. The camera pulls back, showing the giant tree is now part of a vast, thriving forest under a starlit sky. Other strange, surreal trees are visible in the distance. Phase 6. The call to action. We have journeyed from the desert of the uprooted self to the forest of the integrated soul. We have seen that the tree is not just an image, but a living map within you. Now, the work begins. The tree is a mirror. When you hold it up to your own life, which part calls for your most urgent attention right now? Is it the roots, demanding that you finally look into your own past? Is it the trunk, which feels weak and needs strengthening? Or is it the branches, which have stopped growing and reaching for the light? Share your reflection in the comments below. There is power in bearing witness to one another's growth. Let us cultivate a forest of insight together. If you are ready to continue this exploration, to learn the language of symbols and navigate the dreamscape of your own psyche, then join our expedition. Subscribe to Ego and Echo, and ring the notification bell. You will find that our sessions are less about answers, and more about learning to ask the right questions. Tending to your roots, as we have seen, inevitably means confronting the parts of yourself you have cast into shadow. This is vital, necessary work. To continue this journey downwards, I recommend you watch our next session, Meeting Your Shadow, the unspoken power of your dark side. The link is appearing on the screen now, and you can also find it in the description below. Remember, the longest journey you will ever take is the one inward. Begin.